You know, and it's funny because when I was in the 3rd grade, by Halloween, I'd missed 2 full weeks of school because I was sick. And Daddy had come to me at one point and he said, I know you're sick. I know that you're not faking it. He goes, I feel really bad for you. He goes, but maybe if you just try to fight through it a little bit, you know, maybe you'll be okay. And of course, wanting to be just like my dad and never wanting to disappoint him, I said, now I'm going to fight at an insane level. And I'm going to make sure that I never see a doctor again. I never want to see a doctor. I'm never going to be sick again. Oh, that was dead wrong. But, you know, what my father really should have done is to, you know, to complete the transformation into manhood is to told me never to ask for directions again and walk around with hands in my pants. Because then I would have just been a typical male through and through. But he taught me to fight, and that's when it started. And it's little things like that that you look back on and say, I'm so glad for that experience because it does teach you how to fight. But for different folks out there, I know that you're going to have to find your own way up from the bottom. But start with yourselves. When you get to a place where you can reach out to others, do that, and then let them bring you up the rest of the way, because it may be the only way that you get out. And if you ever need hands, there's at least 200 hands in this room tonight that are going to reach down and pick you up. So, thank you for that. How do you stay in shape? How do you stay positive? These are really tough questions because people say, oh, you make it look so easy. Folks, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm not going to lie to you. Every single day, every single time I put my feet on the ground and I'm staring down a day, I don't know how I'm going to find the strength to get through it. And trust me, I'm not saying that, you know, so that people feel sorry for me. I don't want that. I have to find my way just like we all do in life. Thank God I can roll over and put my hand on somebody who is probably pushing for me harder than I'm pushing for myself. That helps a heck of a lot. But when those feet hit the floor, you got to figure out, what am I going to do? And when I was sick, during the transplant, Sue and I would go to the gym, and I had made it a point to say, I'm going to run a mile. No matter what, I have to make that mile, because if I don't make that mile, then I feel like I'm going to give up. And there was times when I couldn't run the mile anymore, so I'd walk it. Run, walk, okay, at least I'm hitting a mile, I'm hitting a mile. At one point, I could only make it to 0.6 of a mile. And I felt I was either going to vomit or collapse. And I had to get off the treadmill that night, and getting off that treadmill was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because you don't want to give up. You have such a passion for life, and at the time I'm 31 years old, staring down a road that should be long and bountiful with friends and family, and it's getting cut shorter and shorter. So when I had to get off the treadmill, the thought of the Grim Reaper standing behind me was very real. And I thought, you know, I can't give up because I may not make it. So I just want to read another section of the book where, at that time where this was taking place, give you guys some insight to what was going on. Sue asked one evening during our last week in the hotel if I wanted to have one last workout, and I certainly did. I actually did not, but felt... hold on, let me read that again. Did I want to do it or did I not want to do it? I don't think I wanted to do it. Sue asked one evening during our last week in the hotel if I wanted to have one last workout. I certainly did not feel up to it, but agreed in the spirit of pressing on. 0.6 of a mile passed before I had to stop. I knew that night that pushing myself harder would result either in fainting or vomiting, neither of which was the desirable choice. I began to function with the mindset that my body was losing the fight, and my mind was filled with terrifying images of people lying on their deathbeds, barely conscious. That could very easily be me, I thought, if I don't get this transplant soon. That night I dreamt that I was running on the treadmill, struggling and feeling tired, when all of a sudden, Daddy appeared. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "I came to pick you up so you can come with me." And I said, "Well, can I come back?" "No, but you could stay with me." My heart was torn as I gazed at Daddy, desperately wanting to be reunited with him, but also wanting a chance at life to fulfill my purpose here, although I was unsure what it was or what the future had in store for me. Are you sure? He said, surprised. I'd really like for you to come with me. I said, not ready yet. There's still things I have to do. I understand, said Daddy, and he began to walk away, hanging his head and looking as though I had greatly disappointed him. I woke after that dream in a cool, dark room, disoriented and feeling as though I had completely failed Daddy and let him down. That was about 3 weeks into a transplant waiting list when I thought possibly that the tides were turning against me and that I wasn't going to make it. So how do you get through it? Today I get through it with a lot of love. And I know that that sounds real pie in the sky, but I think that every time I do something positive and every time my feet hit the floor, my dad's watching me and he's proud of me. And he's telling me to keep going. And you guys are telling me to keep going. And I can't thank you guys enough because I think about you guys so many times that you don't even realize. I pull inspiration from things that you guys do and say to help me get on with my day. And I'm so grateful for that. So when you guys say, oh, I could have been better, no, you guys are awesome friends and family, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. Kel, I'm going to share the story if it's all right. Her friends Kelly and Matt have a daughter, Sarah, who's experiencing some of her own challenges right now. And how old is Sarah now? She's 9. Recently, Sarah was at a party, and her friends knew that she's been having some tough times. And the party wasn't for Sarah, it was for another girl, probably a birthday party or something. But knowing what this girl was facing, her friends gave her a present, just to say, we love you. You're a good friend of ours. And when you see that kind of genuine care that comes from kids, it makes me want to stand on a mountain and applaud and scream and yell and hold them on my shoulders because it's so genuine. And I wonder, as adults, what can we do more to do that for each other? What gifts can we give to one another to help each other get through those tough times? Because we need each other. And I would love to be able to do that with the genuineness that kids give because it's a blessing. They don't know any other way. And that's, I think, one of the goals I have is to get back to that. To be able to do that seamlessly and freely so that everyone here can experience some goodness that comes from the rest of us. We all have it in us. We can all do it. So one of those things to take away, think about kids and how genuine they are. And what can we do in life to be more genuine and help the people that are around us? Whether they're friends or family or strangers, part of the human race, we all deserve it. So one of the things I just ask folks to think about.